It's Wednesday. It's the midweek lull. So today is day number 3, school number 2, and I am walking along the road, which is not my favorite way to travel, but today's the first day that I take a bus. And during my week, I have to take a bus 2 out of the 5 days. My bus usually gets here maybe 7:15, 7:20, sometimes 7:15, sometimes 7:20, depends on the driver. So I like to get here at least by 7:10, just in case. It's definitely tricky here because the buses aren't on a specific schedule. Like, there's a schedule, but sometimes they arrive early, sometimes they arrive late. And so you've really just got to kind of stay by the bus stop in case it comes. I don't like riding the bus because I get kind of motion sick. So I'd much rather walk, get a little exercise, that sort of thing. But, it's part of it. My schools are in very opposite directions. That was something, when they told me you're going to have 4 schools, I was like, oh, that's not that bad. But then they showed me where those schools were. And one is to the west, which isn't too far. It's definitely walking distance, about 4 kilometers or so. And then one to the north, that's the one I'm going to today. And it's pretty far, maybe 9 kilometers or something like that. I could probably bike there, but biking to the north is kind of dangerous because there's not a lot of sidewalks. And then one is to the east, and I can walk to that one, but it's a little further, maybe 5 kilometers. And the trek is kind of hilly. I'll show you that tomorrow. And then Friday, it's further west. And this one's the furthest away, and it takes me pretty close to an hour to get there by bus. Welcome to Chonbuk. It's very rural. So you have to come in and get your temperature taken. This classroom looks really nice, but I hate these chairs. They just want to spin and slide all class long. The first time I came here and had to teach, I wasn't supposed to teach for 2 weeks, but I was not gonna be here one day, I think, and because of that, they asked, could I teach a week early because I was gonna miss the next week? And I was like, yeah, sure, it's not a big deal, because it's just like an introduction lesson and that sort of thing. What I didn't realize, and what I should have tested, was that it didn't read my USB, so I didn't have any of my files. So I had to make them on the fly that morning. And so it wasn't the best lesson because of that, but now I know, and now you should know, that always email yourself a backup. In terms of working in Korea, you have to have an open mind, and you have to understand that things are not always as they seem. So anyway, I've definitely changed my attitude teaching here. It's not as bad as it started out. When I first started here, it was very challenging, but I think it's gotten a little bit better as time's gone on. It's definitely still hard because students are bordering on that disrespectful level, some more so than others, and you have to keep in mind all of these things, that, you know, their circumstances, and you also have to maintain some kind of semblance of a classroom, because the students that do want to learn, you're not benefiting them. And you have to learn how to motivate those students that are challenging without completely adopting the mentality that exists here of just, you know, teach to the ones that are listening. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You want to try to reach as many as you can. And I don't know how successful I always am at that. You know, I think that's where the challenge comes in for me, because some people who come here and teach, they can just teach and that's it. And you know, they don't take it home with them up here. But, you know, if I'm not doing my job, if I'm not doing the best job that I can do, I feel like I'm not doing my job at all. They love Pokemon games. Like anytime it's a Pokemon game, they are all about it. Which is, you know, if I can provide a little bit of happiness each day for 15, 20 minutes, you know, who am I to deny them that? It's kind of challenging because I have 4 schools, and all 4 schools use different textbooks. And each teacher, homeroom teacher, wants me to kind of approach things differently. So Monday, Tuesday, I kind of just teach the lesson as it comes. So at lesson 1, spend 3 weeks on it, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. Friday, I just review. I don't teach from the textbook, so I review the ideas. I try to incorporate some culture lessons, some expressions, and play games and that sort of thing. Thursday, all the teachers want me to teach the even number lessons. And one teacher wants me to only teach lesson 2 and 3, so I have to really stretch out lesson 2 and 3 for like ever. And then today, initially, the 3rd and 4th grade teachers wanted me to teach like these random lessons, like 4, 5, 6, and 8, 9, 10 or something. And it was difficult, so I just did what I wanted to do, and I taught from lesson 1 onward. And we adjusted that, and, you know, they were understanding of that it was challenging to just teach these random lessons because the lessons build on each other. And 5th and 6th grade, they want me to teach the first 2 sections of each lesson, which is like a 2-week thing, but if I do that, I'm gonna have a lot of time at the end. So anyway, the point of this story is I've gone through and kind of gauged how long I should spend on each lesson. And I should spend approximately 3 weeks on each lesson if I taught every single lesson. And so that means if I only teach every other lesson, then I'm gonna have to spend like 6 weeks on it, which is too long. I asked for the homeroom teachers to stay in class because I was really concerned that a lot of bullying was occurring, because students will speak in Korean. And you can try your best to institute a rule of only English in English class, but it's not gonna happen. They're gonna talk to their friends in Korean, and there's not anything you can do about it. And because of that, you have to be very aware of body language and what's occurring. It's pretty obvious when a student is picking on another student, but there's not a lot you can do. And that's why there has to be a teacher in the classroom with you. And they really try to skate by that, but you should really hold them to that. Like, why is there not a teacher in here? There should be a teacher in here. And don't let it make you feel like you're not doing your job, because that's their job, is to be in the classroom and be a witness. Because if something happens, then that's on you, and you're gonna have to defend yourself. And, you know, why would you want that? Why would you want to deal with that? So there should be somebody here. And it really frustrates me when there's not. But I kind of like fall into that way of thinking of, oh, well, you know, I'm an adult, I'm a professional teacher, I should be able to do this without their help. But that's, you got to move past that, because it's not that. You can do your job. You know, I believe in you, but there needs to be somebody here for legal reasons, and don't let them get away with not being there. So, I don't know if you can tell, but I've switched venues. That is one thing that I have to do at this school. So Monday and Tuesday I have my own classroom, but on Wednesday I have my own classroom while I teach, and then I have to come into this table tennis room. At about 3 o'clock, I have to go to another room and wait like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I can go back to my English classroom. So they have like after school classes here, and they use my English classroom for, I'm not really sure, maybe soccer or something, like a soccer class. Moral of the story, just be adaptable, be prepared for anything. These, you know, no situation is gonna be exactly the same. So I have a little while. And then other thing about right here, hello. The other thing about right here is that students just come and walk. Hello, hello, hello. They come and walk through the hallway. Whereas Monday and Tuesday, there are no students around me. Like, each day is very different. It's hard to get into a routine. It's hard to learn students' names. But that's the truth of coming to teach in Korea, or going to teach in Japan, or whatever it happens to be. No situation is going to be the same as somebody else's situation. So my first setup was amazing. My second setup isn't bad, but it does have its challenges. And I have to kind of keep perspective without letting myself become too negative. So jumping rope helps, you know, find your jump rope. Heading out, end of day 3 to the bus. So I actually get to leave this school pretty early compared to the other ones, but that's because the bus interval is an hour. So if I don't make this bus that should be arriving in 5-ish minutes, then I would have to wait a whole hour for the next one. So you just got to be ready, and you got to be standing there. So like, I'll stand right up on the edge, which there's some other people today, so it's not going to pass us. But there have been times when I'm the only one standing, and I'm not close enough to the edge, or not sticking my hand out far enough, and the bus will just pass me. So you always got to be ready. Here comes Cyrene.
I got a tuna melt because I like sandwiches, and then I got black tea lemonade. And then Scotty got a cookie and what is this called?
Strawberry lemonade blended. Oh yeah. Some B-roll.
B-roll footage. Like your entrance or your exit. Especially this is pretty.
Yeah, it's nice through here.
They're just weeds, right?
Not gonna snatch anybody's camera today.
No.